Governor Kotek opened the first meeting of the Oregon Prosperity Council today. It is a group designed to focus on the state's economy, creating more jobs, and helping grow Oregon businesses.
That big decline belongs to Oregon, falling 13 spots to 35th place overall.
With a price tag of $106 million and more than a decade overdue, the new software program is the same one used by the new Paid Leave Oregon program.
It's not easy to be a business owner in Portland in 2023.
This week, Portland and Multnomah County officials announced they're putting together two new task forces aimed at car thefts and retail crime.
Reality today is that thousands of business owners head to their shops and storefronts worried that this may be the day that they were broken into, or their windows were smashed, or one of their vehicles were stolen.
Before, the governor blamed Measure 120's big defeat on the rising gas prices due to the war in Iran, saying it made it impossible for Oregonians to support it.
Touted as a win by Democrats, Oregon Republicans feel differently.
Unfortunately, the majority wasn't really interested in a negotiation. Really what they wanted was the Republicans to agree to a massive tax increase without the reforms that are necessary. And that's the rub, really.
The state of Oregon is one of the worst states to either start a business in or try and run a business in. Massive, massive taxes, wildly overregulated. They basically don't want you to do business based on policy. It's election time, and Governor Tina Kotek says that she's ready to tackle Oregon's lousy business reputation. Lousy business reputation. What's her game plan? Yeah. That's kind of the amusing part. So what we've had is, again, it's election time. So the governor decided, all right, I'm going to put together this coalition of business owners, all right, and I'm going to have them make some recommendations as to what we can do so we can get more businesses up here in this biatch. Yeah. So this is what that looks like. I mean, you've got Tillamook Creamery, you've got building trades, you got a wine company, Columbia Sportswear. They've got Fort George Brewing on there. My son gave me a 6-pack of Pilsner from Fort George Brewing for Father's Day, along with Bikini Blonde Lager from Maui Brewing Company. He knows those are a couple of my favorite beers. And he gave me a couple of cards that were great. So Fort George, you guys are represented. It was good beer too, by the way. Just beer in, I rant all day about how lousy Portland and Oregon are for homelessness and leadership and voting Democrat. Their beers, though, there's something there. I mean, probably some out of the top 5 beers, there's 2 or 3 that are from Oregon. Yeah, you got to give props where props belongs. But it's re-election time. And so now, based on this study that we had here, the Prosperity Council, and they said, well, reduce these specific taxes and do this and do this. What we're trying to do is we're trying to overcome literally decades of policy that has put Oregon towards the bottom end of the map. And by that, I mean, here's a CNBC. America's top states for business 2025, full rankings. Yeah, North Carolina, Texas, Florida. These are all the states people are moving to, right? Because businesses are there. Virginia, Ohio, Michigan, Georgia, Tennessee, Indiana. Those are all states that have been doing things to encourage their business development. Low taxes, no income tax, strong leadership. Not allowing homelessness to just absolutely take over everything. And by and large, quite a few of those are run by Republicans. Now, we get down to the bottom of the list. So we get down, and Washington is number 14. Well, Washington has had an amazing, amazing run. I think that run is over, especially considering where taxation is going. I think Washington will continue to drop because Washington is just above Nebraska. Now, Nebraska is they're kind of one of those come from behind because they've got affordability. In so many of these states, Their affordability has become, less and less. But we got to go all the way down to 39 for Oregon, just above West Virginia, just above Arkansas. Oh, what do we got going on there? Yeah. Then we go Nevada, Maine, New Mexico. There's still a lot of people going to Nevada because of low taxes. And down at 39, you've got Oregon. Now, and then you got Alaska. Well, I mean, there's not a ton of business there, and it's way the heck up there. Everything is so expensive there. Montana has such a small population base. Rhode Island just tiny. Louisiana, it's Louisiana, right? So Oregon used to be one of those places where you would do business because it was cheap, it was low taxes, and that has been decades and decades of Democratic supermajority rule has placed it in this position where it's now 39. And that's just one measure. There's other measures like desirability of investment, real estate investment. Oregon is 80 out of 81. Portland is 80 out of 81 big cities. 80 out of 81, just basically dead last. Because why would you invest in Portland? All of their policies, all affordability, everything is it's gone the wrong way. So Governor Kotek put together this coalition of business leaders. They threw out a couple of ideas, and this is her plan. This is the plan. It's been a mantra of business leaders, Republicans for years, has made the state increasingly unappetizing for businesses. As she runs a run for re-election, Governor Tina Kotek said Tuesday she agrees. Even the Trailblazers, Portland Trailblazers, Clyde the Glide Drexler, they're going to get moved out. And I keep telling my son, Kiernan, I think they get moved to Austin. Austin is an emerging market. It's got great leadership at the state level, a Republican. It's pro-business. You got a lot of businesses going to Austin. Now, Austin itself is a little purple, but you got a lot of people that watch basketball there. People in Portland, the billionaire owner that bought from Paul Allen's family, the Trailblazers, he's from Dallas. He's doing everything he can to move the Trailblazers out. That will happen, mark my words. Growing concern over major state budget deficits, stagnating population growth, rising unemployment, and new data showing Oregon businesses are looking elsewhere as they expand, Kotek announced her intention to dig the Beaver State's business cred out of the basement. See, the doom loop is already there. It's already happening. You've got dropping property values. Your businesses have already left. Nobody's coming in. Your revenue is decreasing. You can't afford to eliminate taxes. You can't afford to give incentives to come to Oregon. Other states with better leadership are already doing that. And they've got that vortex effect, right? Build it and they will come. And you get just this suck into your state, like Texas, like Florida. It's just happening. Flanked by business leaders and lawmakers at Toledo Semiconductor Company, Governor unveiled a series of strategies. Stronger overall economy. Now, that's not happening. That will not happen for many, many, many years. And it's because you need stronger leadership than what you've had. You need business leadership. And you know what, Oregon? You guys can't, and that typically means a Republican. And you don't have what it takes to actually vote for a Republican because you're so set on voting blue. And look where it's gotten you. Keep voting blue. Oregon, here's a good one. This is great. This is funny stuff. I mean, this is pure comedy here. Oregon is on the brink of a decade of extraordinary economic growth and greater affordability. If, and it's everything after the if, or if you say but, it's everything after the but that counts, right? If we put the right partnerships, okay, policies, all right, and strategies in place now, meaning the ones you have right now, the partnerships, The policies and the strategies are all wrong. They're all wrong. So you need to redo everything. You're not redoing everything. You're just going on the campaign trail and you're talking about stuff because you know people are going to bring up, hey, Oregon's 39th out of 52 in the country for states where people want to run businesses. What's up with that? Well, you see, I put together this council and they recommended doing that. And we're thinking about doing that. And then now we're going to do this. Yeah, but you already blew it. You created, and it's not just Kotek, it's decades of Democrat supermajority rule. This is what happens. After a while, businesses don't want to be there because you tax the bejesus out of them for a bunch of social welfare programs. Pretty simple stuff. I mean, pretty plain and simple. There is no way Oregon's going to work its way out, just like Washington State isn't. We're going the wrong way. We're putting a millionaire tax in place. Hey, you think that's going to work out, guys? I keep hearing my son Kieran told me the other day he was out doing an appraisal on somebody that was selling their house, South Seattle, I think, and they've got a handful of houses and in Seattle market. And they said, hey, millionaire tax, that would kill us. That would absolutely, they don't have enough wealth to just, flick that off and say, whatever. It would really, really impact them. And they are packing up and they're selling everything. And I forget where they were going. I don't remember where they're going. They're somewhere, Ohio. You know what I mean? Just like, okay, all right. I hear of more people going to Ohio. It's affordable, low tax structure. There's plenty of cause for concern. Oregon's unemployment rate has risen faster recently than other states. State is on track to lose more jobs than it gains this year. Not the right direction. Typically a sign of a recession. Oregon's already in a recession. Portland is already in a recession. They are in a vicious doom loop, but nobody wants to talk about it because, good Lord. Then we have to admit that our current leadership absolutely sucks big donkey you-know-what, and nobody wants to do that. Oh, yeah, keep voting blue. It'll get better. I'm sure you'll come up with some policies that are going to get you there to number one. So, although economists aren't currently predicting one, if you aren't bright enough to see all of the signs that Oregon has gone in the wrong direction and is currently we just said their unemployment rate is spiking. You're going to lose more jobs. You're losing businesses. Your property values have tapped out. Your commercial property values have absolutely tanked. If it sounds like a duck, if it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, what is it, a coyote? No. Oregon's economy is growing more slowly than the national average. Oregon is falling behind the rest of the nation, and Democrats have no plan to turn it around. No. Oregon's lost 25,000 jobs over the last year. Weird. Why is that? Because they're in a recession? Oh, there's no signs of recession. That is one. Some of the state's largest employers, Intel, Nike, seen repeated rounds of layoffs recently. Okay. That is not specific to Oregon, but they are located in Oregon. And those businesses guaranteed are not doubling down on investment in Oregon. Because it doesn't make sense. It makes no sense. Here we get into the Oregon 39th in the country. Then you got state's economy, Oregon's economy places at 41st. Cost of doing business, 43rd in this country. Business friendliness, 47th. Workforce, 23rd. Well, you've already got a workforce that has been working in, tech industries and a bunch of other stuff you've got going on. They're still in place. They're still there. It's like Seattle will be there for a long time. We're already in place. Some of that stuff will filter over to Bellevue, but a lot of big businesses will not double down and do business in a state that's, that's either gone the way Portland has or is going the way that Washington is with the millionaire's tax and just absolute jacking up the taxes to afford very social, generous welfare programs. Bunch of nonsense. Kotek said Tuesday it's her goal to get Oregon into the top 10 overall in the CNBC list. We just read what that list was, didn't we? Ain't happening. Not happening. Not happening under Tina Kotek's rule. Not even close. Because you've got real leaders. You got real governors running real states in that list. You're going to compete against Texas and Florida? I'm sorry. This is going to take a couple of decades to turn it around. If you had somebody that was on, knew what they were doing and was able to figure out a way to create the incentives needed to do business in Oregon while not absolutely breaking the bank because revenue is already dropping and you don't have money just floating around to throw out there as incentives. Hey, come do business in Oregon. It's going to be the greatest thing ever. Her plan relies on streamlining business regulations. Good luck. You streamline 50%, you're still way above regulations in Texas and Florida because they don't have them. So streamlining business regulation, don't care. Better training Oregon workers. Sorry, doesn't count. Sharpening tools like targeted tax breaks. Your environment is already so expensive. You don't have the ability to create all these tax breaks because you need those tax dollars to run your declining economy. There you go. That's the plan. That's the plan. Just a bunch of nonsense that doesn't work, won't work. And I don't say that lightly. I mean, these are not hard things to identify. Who was it that said, we always joke about, it'll never work. You know what I mean? It'll never work. This will never work. Today, I'm up here to lift up and emphasize that Oregon is open for business. All right. Last summer, I walked around downtown Portland, and it wasn't open for business. Like half of the retail spots were not open for business. Might be open for business, but downtown Portland ain't open for business because it's closed. Closed. Gone. We're ready to roll up our sleeves, support business, and create more good-paying jobs for Oregonians. Well, why haven't you been doing that? How come you haven't been doing that? What have you had going on? Oh, a bunch of Antifa protesting for God knows what, right? Against ICE. What's wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Everybody wants to run a business where local Antifa is just allowed to have their way with federal law enforcement. That is a hard no-go because that's an indication that law enforcement is not respected. And law enforcement is not respected in Portland. In Oregon, it's just not. Keep voting blue, though. I'm sure that'll work out. All right, it's part of the Governor's Prosperity Council. Yep, okay. Not coincidentally, such a Prosperity Council is among recommendations made in a report, the Oregon Business Plan. You can see where all this is going. Nowhere. It's going nowhere. Kotek's been a persistent force in Oregon's politics for more than a decade. Oh yeah, and how's that unemployment again? Where do you rank on that list of businesses? Where do you rank? Okay, yeah. Do you think being in politics for more than a decade has maybe impacted some of those things? What's your investing in real estate ranking look like? Oh, good. Former longest-serving House Speaker in state history also said Tuesday she would push a bill in next year's short legislative session that would fast-track major development projects. She pointed to similar efforts in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. That ain't going to do it. Not going to do it. Because who's going to want to do a major development project with the tax basis that you have, the structure, the massive regulation, with a business environment that's going it is going somewhere. Down. But anyway, other steps listed in Kotek's proposal include The tax changes, tax incentive programs, incentivize businesses to invest in Oregon. Well, who's going to do that? Hey, the governor just threw out some incentives. Guess we won't be going to Texas now. Conducting better outreach with large employers to stay ahead of emerging challenges and opportunities. What a bunch of nonsense. They're already leaving. They are literally leaving. Better outreach. We're going to outreach to the big employers. Hey, you guys aren't leaving, are you? You guys are staying, huh? Right? Yeah, actually, Tina, we need to talk. Direct state agencies to propose ways to streamline permitting. See all this Mickey Mouse stuff? It's literally just that. It's a bunch of Mickey Mouse stuff that this is what they throw out there when they need to be able to say to their constituents, just like the people at the No Kings, I'm helping with my sign. Still no kings. I'm helping. Yeah, they just look straight up mentally ill, don't they? Well, that's what you've got going on here. You've got somebody who has pushed Oregon into the dregs of where you line up, on a state by state level. And now all of a sudden it's election time and hey, we're going to be top 10, no time at all. Here's what we're going to do. Yeah, not happening. Not happening. I mean, just absolutely. But the governor brought some weighty voices as co-signers in an unveiling her effort Tuesday. You got Columbia Sportswear president, CEO Tim Boyle. Yeah, but you guys have been there forever. It's Columbia, you guys have been big proponents of Oregon, big proponents of port. Oregon has a lot to offer, but added it also must do more to help business grow. Not even more to help business grow, more to help businesses stay there. What about all the homeless people? We haven't even talked about that. All the homeless people wandering around, breaking into small business. What about that? Breaking into medium business, breaking into big business. Apple. The Apple store in downtown Portland gets absolutely rocked so often that they've just got a crew of people that board up their glass windows. Nobody wants to run a business there. So keeping business, that's important. That's critical. Is that's your tax dollars, right? And they're literally going away. The drumbeat has been growing all year for Oregon leaders to take an active role in making the state more welcoming to new and existing business ventures. Well, what they're doing is they're more interested in driving business out. They just don't want to say it. Because all their actions say otherwise, don't they? But now that it's election time, and now that the rubber is really hitting the road, you can only ignore so many surveys that say, don't do business in Portland, don't do business in Oregon. And by and large, don't do business in Washington State, don't do business in Seattle. Same thing. Because it's taxes, it's overregulation, it's lack of affordability. You don't have cheap dirt to build your buildings. You don't have the ability to pull a permit cheaply and go blow and go and build. You don't have affordable housing for your employees. You don't have affordable cost of living. You don't have affordable gas relative to other states. And Oregon is considerably cheaper than Washington. Gas here just dropped below $5 a gallon. Just dropped below $5 a gallon. And that's at your cheap gas stations like Arco. Doesn't have that Techrolene, doesn't have that extra cleaner in there like Chevron. They're like Chevron. Whatever. They're like Chevron. Whatever. Kotek is yet to formally announce re-election plans, widely expected to do so. Tina Kotek should have been the chief prosperity officer for Oregon this entire time. This is Christine Drazen. She's a Republican from Canby, and she is running for governor. And I would love to see her win. I think she would make a great governor for Oregon. There just ain't enough Republicans willing to vote for a Republican in Oregon. It's like, everybody in Oregon, just keep voting blue. It's got to work this time, right? It's got to work this time. But let's vote blue. Governor is not the only top Democrat making better economic stewardship a priority. Of course not. They all recognize, things have gotten wildly out of control here. We got to do something. What are we going to do? Well, let's put together a coalition of business leaders, have them give us some recommendations. We'll get a chief prosperity officer, put that person in place. We'll do some more studies. We'll talk about it. We'll do some outreach. We'll do one or two tiny, tiny little tax breaks that nobody's really going to use that we can point to, though, for election purposes, re-election purposes. And that's what we're going to do. And it doesn't move the needle at all. Just not even a little bit. You know what I mean? Nah, it just keeps going. It's like when you're running a low battery even lower, and you're like, God, it's not charging. Is it my alternator? And it just goes, and then engine stops. Just there's no power to it. You have no battery. You have no ability to keep things charged. Just not going. Not going. That's where Oregon is. That's where Portland is. Crazy times. But hey, let's do a chief prosperity officer and some studies and stuff. I think I've adequately thrashed her prosperity program, don't you? Thanks so much for being here. I'd love to have you subscribe, do all the good stuff. I will see you on the next episode. Thank you so much for joining. Bye for now.